Good afternoon, everyone. Glad to be here. I'm going to be talking to you about acquiring the skills to get the job that you want as far as in industry. And it's not the skills that probably many of you might think of. And to be a little humorous here as far as those top 10 reasons why you want to work for industry. Number one, certainly is cutting edge of the newest technologies that we've got out there. Certainly, we get to travel sometimes quite a bit, depending upon the types of jobs, and maybe sometimes you're traveling more than you really want to, but certainly the globe-trotting that happens with universities. Grant writing, no, and there isn't any of that. The projects that we have, are funded, and, if it's a valuable project, it will be probably well-funded. And a little humorous, the really big bucks, we do get paid well. That's true. And work in your pajamas. A field scientist like myself that gets to work out of their home, I guess if you really wanted to, you could work in your pajamas. So just a little bit of humor here. But so seriously, working in industry, it definitely has been a rewarding career for myself. I've been in industry for 28 years, and I've loved every minute of it. Okay, so as far as my outline, I'm going to be talking about then these skills that are basically skills beyond academics that that we're looking for as far as potential employees within industry. And then I'll just briefly talk about different opportunities for plant pathologists in industry and plant pathology and those opportunities and roles in industry. So first of all, as far as these personal qualities and what you're bringing to industry, you're bringing innovation, you're bringing creativity. That's what industry wants, are all these new ideas. And industry is rewarding you with a lot of different opportunities. They're looking for that creativity, those innovations, and they offer great opportunities as far as compensation packages, etc. And so, that for anyone, most R&D positions within industry, that ticket to get that interview is basically that diploma, that PhD diploma. That's your union card, and it's your ticket in the door. And when you get in the door, what the things that people will be talking to you about are all of these things. I haven't been saying next slide. Hopefully they'll take that out. Sorry about that. Is you're filling that toolbox with all of these non-technical skills, being leadership, teamwork, accountability, creativity, communication, embrace change, because there's always change, and initiative. And I'm going to talk about these things further as far as these non-technical skills. That's what the ticket, your diploma, your PhD gets you in the door, and it's going to be these items here that they're going to be talking to you about. And I'll be explaining why. Is that all of these other skills, depending upon what you're doing in industry, they're all transferable to all different jobs that you might have within industry. And it's your personal and professional effectiveness as far as being able to use all these things. And so as you move on, depending upon your jobs in industry, you will be taking all those skills, and that's why they're looking for people with those skills. And so and these are all non-technical skills, and these are all skills that you are developing, or you will be developing through your graduate work or postgraduate work as far as in universities. So first skill, leadership. And I'm going to be having two slides here. This first one as far as leadership, I'll have a slide as far as your experiences, and the next slide as far as how you'll be using those experiences within industry. Examples here as far as officer in the department or clubs, and APS committees, excellence in demonstrating, in getting awards, and other people have seen where you've shown leadership, organizing symposiums, organizing community activity. All of these things are where you have stepped forward and are doing something not for a group, making sure that things get done, whether it's a committee, a department, and then the awards are the people recognize that. And so these are things that you have done as far as in your graduate work, and as far as how you will use these in industry would be, for example, in biology team leaders for protocols, field research station leaders. Just if you're doing your work and you've come across some very interesting ideas and you think that some of these ideas would be something that the company needs to adopt, then you need to lead that idea and that product concept. And so you'll need to be selling that and be a leader in doing that. So that's how you'll be using these leadership qualities within industry. The next is teamwork. In your experience as far as teamwork, and depending upon the projects you've been working on, there'd be certainly multidisciplinary projects as far as in your thesis. There might be joint publications or research proposals, or just work where you've worked with many diverse groups of people, and even cultures, certainly from the laboratories. And you've had to overcome maybe some difficulties as far as working with a team and making sure that your project still goes forward. And we will be asking you about that type of teamwork that you've been doing as far as in your research program. And how does that relate to industry? Certainly, as I said before, if you had that project, you'll be and that you think that other people need to be doing this, you'll need to be sharing this with the team, and as far as the leadership, and sharing with the team and see whether or not that team wants to adopt that particular idea. You've got everything in industry is really done by teams, whether it's global projects, R&D, commercial projects, working with the sales reps and marketing, where you're always working as a team, getting things done. Next quality is accountability. With accountability, as far as with your experience, is finishing that research program. You've got your PhD. There's some accountability there. More than likely, you've written a number of publications, given quite a few presentations, and all of this is accountability, as being able to do that and on a timely basis. In industry, it's the same thing as far as that accountability of working on specific problems. We call them key questions, and providing those key answers at specific time frames. And in doing different projects, certainly managing budgets, you can't spend too much money. You don't have all the money in the world, and more than likely, someone's given you a budget that you can work with. Sometimes it's good to come under budget. Also, it's just as far as accountability, recognizing the new ideas, just getting a job well done, and you're. For me, certainly, a lot of times is getting through this long project, and wow, it finally is done, and it was done well. And for me, a lot of times that's enough of a reward for some of these projects. Next slide. Creativity. I sat down with a graduate student earlier today, and they kind of commented. They asked the question, well, in industry, we kind of think that people that not really looking for creativity. No, that is exactly what we're looking for, is creativity, because that's what we're paying for. That's what all companies want, is creativity. And you've shown in your projects, I'm sure there's plenty of places where you've shown creativity in what you've been doing on your projects that you've been working on, as far as looking at something differently and coming up with a new idea as far as how to look at something, how to analyze something, showing creativity. Within industry, as far as next slide, as far as what we're looking for, whether or not you've come up with a new practice, some type of new practice as far as managing a disease, or this is innovation that just is innovation that is going to take the company, depending upon the product, into a whole new area. We're always looking for creativity. That is what drives industry, is creativity. And next slide, certainly communication. you've been doing that for your career, certainly as a scientist, a PhD scientist, and you participated in many different venues, certainly here at APS, as far as giving presentations, scientific publications as far as writings, etc. And in industry, next slide, it's no different. That we expect that you would communicate internally as far as on your projects you've been working on, again, on a timely basis as well. And then also to actually give presentations at scientific meetings as well as also scientific publications. And also flexibility. In your program, I'm sure there were times that you had to be flexible, and I don't know, there was probably some times that you had to be flexible and you weren't really that comfortable with it, because what flexibility means is that there's change. And then you encountered that change, and you kind of thought through it, and you worked with your advisors, etc., and you did make it through that change. Other things as far as, changing from a master's to a PhD, going from entomology to plant pathology. Notice I didn't say plant pathology to entomology. We wouldn't be here. But and diverse research projects that you've been working on. Or there might be some projects that, it's not really part of your program, but you might have helped out some of your colleagues on something. And it's that flexibility. In industry, next slide, looking for flexibility because, number one, you very likely will be working on many different types of projects, depending upon what you come in working on. In 2 to 3 years, it could be very different from that. Things change within an industry as far as jobs, depending. And you go, someone else had that great idea of something, and now we're starting to work on that. That means that more than likely other people will be working on it. It might be yourself. So flexibility is certainly very important in industry. Next slide. And lastly, initiative. And this initiative, creativity, they're very similar sometimes. As far as your experience in the laboratory, helping out colleagues, you have a method that you know how to do. Someone else has come in the lab and they don't know how to do it, and you've gone in and helped them out as far as how to figure it out. Initiative as far as working with APS, as far as on committees. Presenting symposium ideas, and maybe even deciding, well, I can help out, I can give a presentation on this too. That's taking the initiative. As far as in industry, it's no different, where you might have an expertise in something and you'd have colleagues that don't, so you take the initiative to set up a program. Maybe you set up a seminar with them where you actually present or show them how you deal with some of these different situations. And so whether that's education, as I said, or product performance, you're working with sales reps where you have a new product and you take the initiative to explain in depth how these new products work. And so there are a lot of opportunities as far as taking initiative within industry. So when you go in, you've got that ticket, you've got your PhD, and you go in and give a presentation at the university, we're looking for as far as general impressions, the people that stand out. And we're looking for all of these previous attributes. We're looking for someone certainly with a positive perspective on plant pathology, and people that understand the critical issues in not only plant pathology, but in the future, as far as that we have to be producing food in the next 30 years for, 9 billion people. And so this is going to be a huge issue. And industry is part of what society has done as far as what we've created in order to produce that food. You can go and probably do a Google, it's a verb now, as far as Google behavioral interview. This is how interviews generally happen with industry, larger companies. And the questions usually start out something like this. Tell me a time when, and then any one of those previous things, as far as tell me a time when you showed initiative as far as in your research program. Tell me a time when you show creativity as far as in your research program. And there might be some of these questions that people like, and you might get the same question asked 3 or 4 times. And that's the way it is, because what they know, that ticket is that they know that you can do the technology, you've made it through it. Now they're looking to see how you did that, because they want to see how you're going to work within the company. Next slide. And as far as in industry, how people are rewarded, very quickly, as you can tell in this slide, everything is by teamwork, and there's teams that are rewarded and individuals are rewarded. And certainly in industry, we are on the cutting edge of technology. We are looking for those new creative ideas to bring in that new multi-million-dollar project. And what we are paying for is that creativity and innovation as far as with our scientists. In industry, certainly, we expect that people will publish. There's opportunities to be adjunct professors, be on graduate student committees, and to be involved in professional societies, as many of the industry people here in this room are. Certainly, as I mentioned before, there can be a lot of there can be travel involved in your position, and they're usually asking what you want to do as far as in years to come and in future jobs. And if it is that you want to work in another country on a project, you might be able to do that, and so you'll be able to travel to do that. There are, as far as opportunities in industry, there's certainly a variety of roles. Job change is good. I've been in the same job for 28 years. What is changing with my job is all the projects that I've worked on. From year to year, no 2 years have been the same. There's always new projects. At the same time, if you're changing positions, that's good too, because you're developing, you're finding out new things all the time within that job. As far as actual compensation within industry, there's certainly base pay, can be bonus pay, there's merit increases, there's an employer match as far as 401k. In some cases, there's stock purchase options, and certainly there's health care. And here is just a beginning of a list of different roles that plant pathologists can play with industry. This is pretty much within Dow AgroSciences, field station biologist, field scientist, and there's many different disciplines as far as field scientists, discovery biologists, characterization leaders for molecules in discovery, technical experts for registered active ingredients, tech transfer, project managers for molecules, registration managers, and head of R&D. Head of R&D within Dow AgroSciences is a plant pathologist. With none, thank you very much.